A very good morning to everyone. A warm welcome to our esteemed speaker and the audience who have joined us today. I welcome everyone to Unacademy Connect today, where we are going to discuss about how defense is an aspiring career. And I'm delighted and honored to welcome a very, very special guest, Lt Gen SL Narasimhan, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for joining today. There are hundreds of students who have joined from across the country, from Tripura to Himachal to Telangana to Karnataka, and from various classrooms, and are very excited to hear from our very special guest. Unfortunately, there are some who couldn't join due to some bad weather, and they have requested for a recording session as well. Lt Gen SL Narasimhan, sir, PVSM, AVSM, VSM, is an infantry officer commissioned in 1977. He has done graduation in mathematics, post-graduation in defense studies, and PhD in India-China relations. And he has been awarded 4 times for his outstanding contribution to the Indian Army by the President of India. General Narasimhan has been an instructor in the Indian military training team in Bhutan. He has been an avid China watcher for the last 20 years. Narasimhan sir served as the defense attaché in the Embassy of India in China for 3 years. His expertise spans international relations and internal issues, economy, and defense-related subjects of China. Lt General Narasimhan sir has taken part in many Track 2 dialogues, both in India and abroad. And he has authored many articles in various journals and magazines. And he is presently member of the National Security Advisory Board India and Director General, Center for Contemporary China Studies. He is also a distinguished fellow with the Center for Air Power Studies, India. Thank you so much once again, sir, for your time today. We are privileged to have you. We also have Shiv Shukla, Director of Public Policy and Government Affairs at Unacademy. In his past assignments, he was in Ministry of Commerce, Government of India, Niti Aayog, and various other private organizations as well. And he comes with both experience, both government and as well as various fields in industry. Thank you so much, Shiv. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Ankita. Namaste. So I have known sir, so I will follow the protocol today. I will not call you uncle. So I have known him for many, many years now, and he has been an inspiring figure. I look up to him for so many suggestions, advices, and also Ms. Narasimhan. She has been a great inspiration for me in many ways. But today I'll follow the protocol of defense services and I'll call him sir. So just like how Ankita was sharing, students from 9th, 10th till graduation, they are very, very excited to listen to you. How we have sort of kept the entire session in 3 segments. So one will be, we would just request you to share your own journey of defense services, your own preparation days. Normally, we call it OLQs, officers like qualities, when we have to look to defense services. So a bit about that. And then I'll have a few questions which I have received from students, from educators, and I have a couple of questions of my own as well. So perhaps for next 7 to 8 minutes time, the floor is open and you can please just share your experience. Thank you. Over to you.
Okay. Thank you very much to Unacademy and Shiv Shukla for getting me over to this. I always look for opportunities to interact with young minds, which is actually the future of our country. And that is something which I never refuse to talk to them whenever the opportunities come up. When Mr. Shiv asked me a couple of days ago about this particular interaction, I thought I'll definitely do that. Let me start by saying what motivated me to join the armed forces. When I was studying in 11th standard, because those days 10 plus 2 plus 3 was not the system, 11 plus 1 plus 3 was the system. So I was studying in the school final, that is in 1972. That is the time the 71 war, 71-72, that is the time the 71 war happened. And that motivated me to think about joining the armed forces. My favorite subject was mathematics. So I thought I will pursue graduation till mathematics and thereafter then see if I can join the armed forces. Thereafter, I joined the NCC in the college in the second year. Pre-university, it was not allowed. On the first year, when I joined the degree course, the BSc Mathematics. That time I joined the NCC. That gave me further motivation to join the armed forces at a later stage. And when I came to the final year, I took part in the Republic Day parade as an NCC cadet from the Tamil Nadu and Pondicherry contingent. And when I was marching down the Rajpath in 1976 as a young cadet who was getting motivated slowly and steadily to join the armed forces. After that, when I went back, it is the motivation that I got from my college that actually helped me. How it helped me, I'll tell you. When I came for the Republic Day parade, that was the last year of my degree. That is the third year of my degree. And my principal was very uncomfortable sending me for the Republic Day parade. Basically, he thought I'll not get the first class, as they used to call it at that time, in the degree course. He actually made me and my father sit in front of him and took a commitment from me that I'll come back, study hard, and get a first class again. So that he did. When I came back, unfortunately, what happened to me was the vector analysis section of the course did not start when I left. When I came back, it had already finished. So the lecturers in the college took it on themselves to give me extra classes to ensure that I covered that subject also when I went in for the final exams. And I did get a first class, as I promised to the principal. Then when I went for the Services Selection Board interview as an NCC cadet, I applied through UPSC. I also applied through NCC cadet, through the NCC at that time. The NCC C certificate used to be an entry at that time. So he called me and asked me that, whether I needed some help. So I told him, sir, my arms are weak. I need to strengthen them, because in the Services Selection Board interview, you have a monkey rope which you need to cross. So for that, I need help. Lo and behold, by evening, the physical director of the college was standing in front of a huge tree that was in the college and putting a vertical rope for me to climb and practice. So this is the kind of support I got from my mentors at that time. And that motivated me further not to fail them. So when I finally cleared the Services Selection Board and I took the NCC route to join the academy, that was the turning point in my life. And that thereafter, I never looked back, actually speaking. So there were many courses that you need to do and then in the academy, it was a 1.5 year course, because I was a direct entry candidate. And so I had to do 1.5 degrees, whereas others who came from the National Defense Academy had to do only 1 year, because they had already done 3 years of training in the National Defense Academy. So that was another motivation to compete with them and do well. And thereafter, of course, there was another thing which came up when we were in the training as to which arm or service that you need to select. So I had no doubts in my mind that I'll join the infantry, which is the frontline kind of a force that always gets into when anything that happens to a country. So infantry was the choice. Amongst the infantry, then the problem came up as to which regiment should I opt for. So then, of course, you get motivated by the number of instructors in the training academy. You see their demeanor, you see the way they behave, and so you get impressed by those regiments. So then initially I opted for a few regiments, 3 of them. I opted for Gorkhas, Kumaon, and probably Gadwal regiment. And then in the final year, when they came up with another change of choice, if you want to change your choice, you can change it. And as a matter of fact, my drill used to be good. So my drill instructors were very impressed by it. And so I put Guards as my first regiment to be selected. Second, I put the Madras regiment. And third, of course, I went into the Gorkhas again. But ultimately, as luck would have it, I got commissioned into the Madras regiment. And thereafter, of course, I have no regrets of joining the regiment. And I have done, I think, reasonably well for myself in the services. In the service, I don't want to take much time. I want to give more time for question answers. I'll just finish with this. The service took me to many parts of the country. We have a 2-year on and off peace and field. It took me to many parts of the country. And other than Orissa, I think I have served in almost all the states in the country. And it also took me to some foreign countries, like, for example, in the bio, when it was read out, it was said that I was instructor in the Indian military training team in Bhutan. and I also served for 3 years as the defense attaché for our country in China, simultaneously looking after Mongolia and North Korea. That took me to make a number of trips to North Korea and Mongolia, which North Korea is a place where people generally don't go, but I had the opportunity of going there too a number of times. So with all this, I retired as a Lieutenant General, which is the number 2 rank in the armed forces. Precisely because once you become a Lieutenant General, it's your date of birth that decides your further promotion. So that I wish I was born a little later. I could have probably reached the top, but that doesn't matter. Even reaching this rank is actually very prestigious, and that is something which I hold very dearly to myself.
Thank you so much. Very, very inspiring. To the students, I'll also sort of put some Hindi words as well. जो बच्चे नॉर्थ इंडिया एंड अदर पार्ट्स ऑफ द कंट्री से सुनेंगे इस रिकॉर्डिंग और लाइव सेशंस में ज्वाइन है, मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ कि सर ने ये बताया अभी कि पोस्ट से वो रिटायर हुए, उसके बाद द नेक्स्ट पोस्ट इज द आर्मी चीफ. And let me tell you, in various conversations with Mr. Narasimhan and all, I was informed that he was the most qualified officer to become the chief of army staff. So ये एक जो जज्बा होता है, एक जो dedication होती है students की to reach to that level. I mean, he is the live example of that. Sir, I have received a lot of questions, but first I will take one question which has come from one student of Delhi University. We are also very closely working with the Delhi police and UP police and their kids. We are helping them clearing a lot of competitive and entrance exam. So this person, his name is Rohit. He has asked a question through his father, saying that मैंने 2 बार SSB interviews दिए हैं, but I couldn't clear the final day. So he cleared the first day, which is the pre, and the final day. But मुझे ये समझ नहीं आया that where I failed. I just have one chance left. So what is your suggestion? How should I go about it?
इसका ना दो चीजें आपको देखने होंगे. पहले तो मुझे पता नहीं आपने कुछ ट्रेनिंग वगैरह ली है कि नहीं है, वो मुझे पता नहीं है, लेकिन अगर इसमें आप नेचुरल रहिए, पहली बात तो ये है. आप खुद का जो नेचर है, आपका 2-3 टेस्ट ही तो आते हैं उसमें आपको क्लियर करने के लिए. एक तो फिजिकल है, वो तो आप कर ही देंगे. इसके अलावा आपके पास एक साइकोलॉजिकल टेस्ट होगा, लाइक ग्रुप टेस्टिंग ऑफिसर का जो टेस्ट होते हैं, उसमें आपका जो ग्रुप कोहेशन में कैसे आप काम करते हैं उसका वो परख के देखते हैं. तो एक तो वो आपको देखना होगा. दूसरा साइकोलॉजी, आपका वो जो वर्ड एसोसिएशन टेस्ट होगा, थीमेटिक एप्रिसिएशन टेस्ट होगा, साइकोलॉजिस्ट का इंटरव्यू होगा, जो भी होगा, उनमें आप बिल्कुल नेचुरल रहिए. ये इसलिए मैं बोलता हूं कि कई लोग जो है ये ट्रेनिंग एकेडमी वगैरह में जाते हैं, ट्रेनिंग लेते हैं, वो सामने आता है जब आपके सामने साइकोलॉजिस्ट बैठ के आपको देखते हैं तो उनको सामने दिखता है कि भाई ये ट्रेनिंग लेके आया है, उसमें उतना तो उनको एक्सपीरियंस है, तजुर्बा है. तो इसलिए आप बिल्कुल नेचुरल रहिए. जो टेस्ट आपने ऑलरेडी दो बार ये टेस्ट कर चुके हैं आप, तो आपको पता है कि क्या क्या टेस्ट होंगे उसके अंदर. उसको आप देखिए कि कहाँ पर आप इंप्रूव कर सकते हैं. पहले तो ग्रुप टेस्टिंग में आपका लीडरशिप क्वालिटी जो है वो सामने आना चाहिए. आप जब ग्रुप टेस्टिंग के लिए 4 लोग हैं, उसके ऊपर जो ग्रुप टास्क मिला है आपको, उसमें लीड लेने का कोशिश कीजिए और दूसरों का जो काम है उसको कोऑर्डिनेट करने की कोशिश कीजिए. उसमें आपका लीडरशिप एबिलिटी जो है वो बाहर आएगा. दैट नंबर 1. नंबर 2, साइकोलॉजी में आप किसी को चीट नहीं कर सकते, जो आपके अंदर है वही आएगा उधर. तो इसलिए आप उसका ऊपर चिंता मत करें. और लास्ट जो आपका इंटरव्यू जो होता है, जो प्रेसिडेंट के साथ या वाइस प्रेसिडेंट के साथ जो इंटरव्यू होता है, उस इंटरव्यू में आप किस प्रकार का सवाल 2 बार आपको पूछे गए हैं उनको आप देखिए, उसके हिसाब से आप तैयार करिए. आपका जो एक्सप्रेशन है, जो कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ बोलिए. अगर कई बार स्टूडेंट्स को मैं देखता हूं कि वो इंग्लिश में इतना काबिलियत नहीं है तो मिक्स करके बोलते हैं, वो भी आप थोड़ा कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ बोलिए. इंग्लिश अपने आप आएगा बाद में, जब आप उसका प्रैक्टिस करते रहेंगे तो आ जाएगा. तो इस प्रकार का आप तैयार करेंगे तो ठीक होगा. दूसरा एक चीज आपको मैं बताना चाहूंगा, अगर आपको 2 बार सिलेक्शन नहीं हुआ है, अगर तीसरी बार भी अगर कुछ हो जाता है तो उससे बुरा मत मानने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. क्योंकि आपका जो रवैया है, आपका जो कंसंट्रेशन है, वो शायद इस प्रोफेशन के लिए शायद ठीक ना हो, बट कोशिश जरूर कीजिए. मुझे उम्मीद है कि आप तीसरी बार जो है जरूर पास होंगे.
Thank you so much. I think very elaborative answer आपने दिया है. I received one question which has come from the senior official from Tripura. She has also joined the session and she has a question for you, sir. She is saying that it has been observed that 2017 onwards, the number of applications have not dipped. However, the students who are clearing the exam, that has somewhere gone down. And second, she's asking about a related question is about the girl education now being allowed to take full-time commission. So what will be a message to the girl students who are aspiring to join the defense forces? Because still there's a lot of fear that this is an area which is for male dominant and all. So these two questions are there.
एक तो ये है कि ये जो स्टैंडर्ड्स जो रखे गए हैं, पहला जो सवाल है कि भाई लोग ज्यादा जो है अप्लाई कर रहे हैं लेकिन कम लोग सेलेक्ट हो रहे हैं, इसका क्या कारण है? जो सिलेक्शन का जो सिलेक्शन के लिए जो स्टैंडर्ड्स रखे गए हैं वो कांस्टेंट रहा है, उसमें कमी नहीं आई है, उसको कांस्टेंट रहा है। लेकिन ये इससे ये पता चलता है कि ज्यादा लोग अभी फौज में ज्वाइन करना चाहते हैं, तो ये एक अच्छी बात है, देश के लिए सेवा करना चाहते हैं, उसके हिसाब से उनका मोटिवेशन वगैरह जो अच्छा है वो अच्छी बात है। लेकिन ये जो सिलेक्शन प्रोसेस है वो उनका काबिलियत और साइकोलॉजिकल जो कैपेबिलिटी है उसके ऊपर देखते हैं। क्योंकि साइकोलॉजिकल कैपेबिलिटी क्यों देखते हैं? आपको लड़ाई के हालात के अंदर आपके पास कई किस्म के सिचुएशन आएंगे, उसमें आप किस प्रकार से आप विल यू डू योर जॉब, उसको देखने के लिए ये जो साइकोलॉजिकल जो टेस्ट होते हैं वो जरूरी है। क्योंकि आप जब ऑफिसर बनेंगे आपके नीचे पहले तो 30 लोग मिलेंगे, उसके बाद जैसे सर्विस बढ़ता जाता है, जब मैं फाइनली रिटायर हुआ मेरे नीचे 1 लाख लोग थे। अभी उनको लीड करके ले जाना और लड़ाई के हालात में उनको डिप्लॉय करना, उनसे काम लेना जो है हर एक की बस की बात नहीं है, क्योंकि उसके लिए एक साइकोलॉजिकल बेंट ऑफ माइंड चाहिए होता है। तो उसको परखने में वो स्टैंडर्ड वो डाउन नहीं करते, वो स्टैंडर्ड्स बराबर रहा है। जब वैकेंसी जब एप्लीकेशन ज्यादा बढ़ते हैं और वो स्टैंडर्ड उतना ही रहा है, तो वैकेंसी जितना है उसके हिसाब से सिलेक्शन होता है, तो नंबर ऑफ पीपल सिलेक्टेड आपको दिखता है कि भाई वो कम है। वो ऐसी बात नहीं है, जो स्टैंडर्ड के हिसाब से जो पास होते हैं उनको जरूर लेंगे। तो ये बात आपको पहले बता देना चाहता हूँ। दूसरा, विमेन कमीशन के बारे में 1992 में हमने लेडीज को लेना शुरू किया आर्म फोर्सेस के अंदर। आर्मी के अंदर खास करके हमने सिर्फ कुछ कोर में उनको लेने के लिए कोशिश किया था, एजुकेशन कोर, जैक ब्रांच, जज एडवोकेट जनरल ब्रांच, ऐसे करके कुछ कोर के अंदर इकोनॉमिक, इलेक्ट्रिकल एंड मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग, सिग्नल्स, फॉरवर्ड एरिया को छोड़ के, कहने का मतलब इन्फेंट्री, आर्टिलरी, आर्मर्ड को छोड़ के बाकी कोर में उनको लेना शुरू किया था। वो शॉर्ट सर्विस के तरीके से, यानी कि 5 साल के लिए नौकरी कर सकते हैं और 5 साल एक्सटेंड हो सकता है, उसके बाद आपको छोड़ना पड़ेगा। उसके बाद उसको 14 साल के लिए किया गया है। अभी इंक्रीजिंगली आप देखेंगे कि अलग अलग कोर के अंदर परमानेंट कमीशन भी अभी लागू कर दिया गया है लेडीज के लिए। तो वो प्रोसेस अभी शुरू हो गया है। इसमें डरने की कोई बात नहीं है। अगर आपको शॉर्ट सर्विस की तरफ से रहना है तो शॉर्ट सर्विस ले सकते हैं, और परमानेंट कमीशन में जाना चाहते हैं तो परमानेंट भी ले सकते हैं, आपकी मर्जी है। तो इसलिए कोई डरने की बात नहीं है। हाँ, अभी भी जो है ये मेल डोमिनेटेड आर्मी है। इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि लड़कियों को या ऑफिसर्स को, लेडी ऑफिसर्स जो आते हैं उनको अलग किस्म से देखा जाता है या अलग किस्म से उनसे टास्क लिया जाता है। टास्क वही रहेगा, लेकिन सर्टेन अमाउंट ऑफ facilities have been given to them. Like for example, when men are there, the toilets are the same, washing utilities are the same, living accommodation the same. It doesn't make any difference. पर लेडीज जब आते हैं उनके लिए अलग बंदोबस्त करना पड़ता है, वो सब ऑलरेडी हो चुका है। तो इसलिए कोई डरने की बात नहीं है। मैं तो ये मानूंगा कि जितना लेडीज ज्यादा आ सकते हैं वो आना चाहिए फौज के अंदर, तीनों सर्विसेज के अंदर, सिर्फ आर्मी के अंदर नहीं, नेवी, एयरफोर्स के अंदर भी। तो इसलिए कोई डरने की बात नहीं है। प्लीज try to join. There's no problem in that.
Thank you so much. There's one very interesting question since we have limited time. This has come from one senior official from UP Police. He is placed in Lucknow headquarters, and he has asked that most of the times it says that if you join police or defense forces, you won't get time for the family. How has been your experience about the whole thing?
That's a very interesting question. Yes, you have. That again depends on how you look at your career. It is not that you will not get time for family. You will, The only thing is, what happens is, in the armed forces, unlike the police, which remains in the state, etc., in the armed forces, what you need to do is you have to go to frequently to field areas. I mean, we alternate between field area and a peace area. When you are in a field area, I think the children and the family have to be brought up by your wife, whosoever it is. If you are a gentleman, if you are a wife, if you are a lady officer, then yes, that will create some amount of issues. But I am sure it is not unsurmountable. They can be looked into और देखभाल किया जा सकता है. खास तौर पर मैंने ये भी देखा है कि ज्यादातर लेडी ऑफिसर्स जो हैं, आर्मी ऑफिसर्स या आर्म फोर्सेस ऑफिसर से ही शादी किए हैं, तो एक दूसरे का मदद करते करते वो निकल जाता है. ऐसी कोई इतना कोई ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. और मेरे ख्याल है ये अफसर तो पुलिस में है, उनके पास कितना टाइम है उनसे पूछिए जरा. उनके पास भी तो कम टाइम ही होगा, क्योंकि दुनिया में जितने चीजें हो रही हैं उनको वो पूरा तो उनको भी झेलना पड़ता है. तो फैमिली के लिए थोड़ा बहुत टाइम कम हो सकता है, ये मानता हूं, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है कि ये पूरा प्रॉब्लम है. और इसमें मेरा एक कहना है कि भाई जिस हिसाब से मेरी दोनों बेटियां बड़ी हुई हैं, अभी सब वेल सेटल्ड हैं, उसका रीजन है मेरा वाइफ. तो जब वो फील्ड में जब मैं होता था तो अपने आप घर संभालती थी, काम भी करती थी, साथ साथ में बच्चों को भी देखभाल करती थी. तो इस वजह से हमारा फैमिली जो है ठीक ठाक हो चुका है. तो उसी मुताबिक मेरे ख्याल हस्बैंड वाइफ के बीच में एक तालमेल हो, एक दूसरे का जो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है वो लेने का ताकत हो या सक्षम हो, तो अपने आप ये ठीक हो जाएगा. इसमें डरने की कोई बात
नहीं. एब्सोल्युटली. मैं जो अभी सर ने बताया, मैं उसमें थोड़ा और ऐड ऑन करना चाहूंगा. जो लास्ट पॉइंट उन्होंने बताया, लाइक आई हैड सेड इन द बिगिनिंग, I got chance to very closely work with Mrs. Narasimhan. I can tell you that the daughters are doing great work. So one is about taking up a job, a professional life. One is impacting somebody's life. I know the kind of work Mridula is doing. I mean, fabulous work, impacting really the women who need the support. So कहीं ना कहीं वो एक रास्ता निकल आता है. सर, जो आपने क्वेश्चन बड़ा अच्छा पूछा था. We'll take last question, sir, because we have a limited time of yours. So this question is about the short service commission. The student is asking that broadly we read that after short service commission there are a lot of career opportunities. What is your view on this? And should we go for full-time commission or should we opt for OTA as in short-time commission?
ये बात आपका सही है. जो शॉर्ट सर्विस कमीशन के बाद में जो ऑफिसर्स निकलते हैं बाहर, most of them have done very well because they have sense of discipline in work. They have capabilities of leadership which they have developed in the armed forces. So it helps them in the corporate sector wherever they go. तो जितने भी शॉर्ट सर्विस के बाद भी लोग बाहर गए हैं, सभी ने जो मेरे नॉलेज में हैं, जितने भी हैं, वो पूरा नहीं अच्छा ही किया है. तो वो एक आपको एक अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलता है. जैसे कि अग्निवीर का जो अभी चल रहा है, तो उसमें भी उसी मुताबिक का एक आपको फायदा मिलेगा. 4 साल फौज में नौकरी करने के बाद में अगर बाहर जाते हैं तो आपका डिसिप्लिन, आपका जो नेशनल प्राइड जो है, वो सब देखा जाता है. जब कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर में भी अगर आप जाएंगे तो इन itself, armed forces are itself a great career. I would say that, I have no regrets of joining the army. If I was given a chance, I'll do it all over again. I have no doubts about that in my mind. It's one of the best kind of professions one can ever have. And this is one institution that has actually doesn't have any caste, any creed, any kind of other feelings. It only looks at your profession and your capabilities. So if you want to go permanent commission, it's absolutely fine. It's a great career that you can pursue. अगर आपको लगता है कि भाई मैं थोड़ा इसमें शॉर्ट सर्विस में जाके थोड़ा बहुत फौज में भी नौकरी कर लूं और बाहर जाके कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर में भी नौकरी करूं, वो भी कर सकते हो. ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है. दोनों आपके लिए ठीक रहेगा.
Great. Thank you so much, sir. Since we have very, very limited time today, but I think the thoughts and the wisdom, the profound thoughts you have shared, it will definitely inspire all the students who are going to watch and have joined. I'm going to send you certain feedback, observations, questions, if at all, to your email box. You can expect few questions in the coming few days, and
No
definitely
problem.
we'll reach out to you and request for maybe another time to further address more and more students.
Sure.
Thank you so much,
Sure.
sir. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much,
so
and all the very
Thank
best
you.
to all
Thank
the aspiring students. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
so much,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you. Thank you, Ankita. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Chef.